Formula One sells itself as the pinnacle of motorsport. The fastest cars, the sharpest minds, the greatest drivers in the world. But beneath the glamour, the trophies, and the carefully managed press conferences, there have been moments when even the sport's biggest names crossed a line, that split opinion for years afterwards. And what makes these moments so uncomfortable is that they rarely come from villains. They come from champions. World champions, future legends, drivers who for a few seconds let pressure, emotion, or ambition take over completely. Moments where winning mattered just a little too much. Let's get into it. Multi-21 Malaysia 2013. We'll start with a moment that wasn't about contact, crashes, or wheel-to-wheel aggression. It was about trust, and how quickly it can disappear at 300 kilometers per hour. Sebastian Vettel arrived in 2013 as a three-time world champion, driving for a Red Bull team that looked completely untouchable that season. At the Malaysian Grand Prix, everything was going exactly to plan. Mark Webber led the race. Vettel sat behind in second. A comfortable 1-2 finish looked locked in. On paper, it was simple. Bring the cars home, protect the result, score maximum points for the team. Then came the radio message. Multi-21, a coded instruction. Webber was car 2. Vettel was car 1. The order was clear. Hold position. Finish as you are. Webber complied. He backed off. He managed the gap. He did exactly what was expected of him. Vettel did not. Instead, he attacked. He closed the gap, and eventually he overtook his own teammate to take the win. What followed on the radio was tense.
Sebastian.
I was really scared. All of the penalty was moving, but I had to leave the line.
Awkward and immediate. Vettel apologized, but it didn't feel clean. It didn't feel resolved. And in Parc Fermé, Mark Webber delivered one of the most famous lines in modern Formula One. Multi-21 Seb, no shouting, no argument. Just a reminder that something had been broken that day that couldn't easily be repaired. The result mattered, but the damage inside the team arguably mattered more. And even years later, Vettel himself admitted it wasn't handled the right way. Baku, 2017. If Malaysia was calculated, Baku was the opposite. It was raw, emotional, immediate. Sebastian Vettel arrived in Azerbaijan leading the World Championship battle against Lewis Hamilton. Every point mattered. Every decision carried weight. Then came the safety car. Hamilton controlled the pace at the front, weaving and slowing the field as he waited for the restart. Behind him, Vettel began to close in, but misjudged the situation and ran into the back of the Mercedes. Vettel's reaction was instant.
And he's saying to Hamilton, what did you do?
He brake tested me. What the going on?
He believed Hamilton had brake tested him. Hamilton denied it. The tension between the two drivers escalated immediately, but the real controversy came moments later. Under safety car conditions, Vettel pulled alongside Hamilton, visibly frustrated. The two cars ran side by side, and in a split second of anger, Vettel turned his Ferrari into the side of the Mercedes. It was not a racing incident, not wheel-to-wheel combat, not a battle for position. It happened behind the safety car where control and discipline are supposed to override everything else. The stewards reacted quickly. A 10-second stop-go penalty was issued for dangerous driving, one of the harshest penalties seen in a championship fight in years. Afterwards, Vettel insisted Hamilton had contributed to the situation, but the stewards found no evidence of wrongdoing from the Mercedes driver. Years later, Vettel reflected on it simply. Baku wasn't a great moment. What I did wasn't right. And sometimes, that's all that needs to be said. Hungary 2010. This is one of those moments that often gets overlooked in highlight reels. But when you slow it down, it becomes one of the most uncomfortable incidents of modern Formula One. Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello had a long shared history at Ferrari. Barrichello spent years in a supporting role, helping Schumacher win championships, sacrificing his own chances when team orders demanded it. By 2010, they were no longer teammates, but the dynamic between them still lingered in the background of every battle. At the Hungaroring, Barrichello found himself behind Schumacher on the pit straight. He went for an overtake, moving to the inside at extremely high speed. What happened next shocked even seasoned observers. Schumacher moved across to defend. Then again. and again. Barrichello was squeezed closer and closer towards the concrete pit wall at full racing speed, with nowhere left to go. At that speed, there is no margin for error. No second chance. Somehow Barrichello made it through the gap and completed the move. After the race, the reaction in the paddock was immediate. Schumacher was handed a 10-place grid penalty, but many felt the punishment didn't reflect how dangerous the situation had been. Because this wasn't just hard defending, it was a move that could have ended in disaster. And it remains one of the most debated defensive actions of Schumacher's career. Brazil, 2018. And finally, the moment where frustration stopped being just verbal. At Interlagos, Max Verstappen was leading the race when Esteban Ocon attempted to unlap himself. In the process, the two made contact. Verstappen spun, and a potential victory disappeared in an instant. For a driver fighting at the front, moments like that don't just hurt. They stick. After the race, emotions boiled over. In Parc Fermé, Verstappen confronted Ocon in front of cameras, officials, and the entire paddock. What started as a heated exchange quickly escalated into physical contact, with Verstappen shoving Ocon repeatedly. It was a rare moment of visible breakdown in control from a driver who would go on to dominate the sport in later years. The FIA responded with a punishment of 2 days of public service work, a decision that sparked debate across the paddock and beyond. What made the moment stand out wasn't just what happened, it was how rare it is to see anything like it in modern Formula One. Drivers argue, drivers clash, drivers push each other mentally every weekend. But physical confrontations are almost unheard of, and that's exactly why this one still gets remembered. Formula One operates at the absolute edge of human performance. The cars are extreme, the pressure is constant, and the difference between victory and failure is often measured in fractions of a second. Most of the time that produces greatness, but sometimes it produces moments like these. Moments where champions lose composure, where pressure overrides judgment, where instinct wins over control. And what makes them so fascinating is not just what happened in the moment, but the fact that these are the same drivers who stand on podiums, lift trophies, and are remembered as some of the greatest to ever do it. Formula One has never really decided how it feels about that. And honestly, neither have we. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more motorsport stories just like this. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know what you want to see next. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.